Oh, good to see
Nice
you
to see you again. Yeah,
You're looking so relaxed.
It's summertime here. We're trying to make farming look cool.
I know.
And hopefully we can learn something about rabbits today.
I know, but why are the cages empty? The last time I was here, the
yes.
cages were full.
As with any venture, farming has its own challenges. We lost a lot of rabbits. For different reasons. One reason was we had some workers that maybe didn't follow instructions. So one, we say labor. And the second part was we don't like to breed them when it's a cold season. We'd rather breed them like now. If you look around, we have babies everywhere. So these babies are going to be occupying these empty cages actually today. Starting today, we are going to wean them. And the third reason was feeds. Feeds. We make our feeds here. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to see how we make our pellets here, because that's a game changer. If you can make your own feeds, then you can control a lot of the outcomes in farming.
So Tony, before we talk about the feeds, let's talk about the structure, because I can see these fancy cages here.
If you go around the farm, we make our structure specifically as what we call multi-purpose structures. Let's say, for example, I don't want to farm rabbits anymore. It's not a profitable venture. Then I can transform this house and I can put pigs here, I can put chicken here, I can put cows here. All we need to do is remove the cages. So that's a plus. So you invest a little heavier, but overall, the houses you can use for something else.
I would like to speak about these cages and how fancy they look, but why rabbits?
Rabbits actually is the healthiest meat in the world. Yes, the healthiest meat in the world. Nutrition-wise, punch for punch, there's no other meat that can beat rabbit meat. I know it's still culturally not acceptable in many places, but I think the more we can embrace it, the more we can even eliminate something like infant malnutrition.
And you have so many animals here. It's literally the McDonald's farm.
Yes, we have.
But now you decided rabbits. How has the journey been?
Most of these ventures, you start small. I started with about 10. And the 10, when they gave birth, then I got a reality shock because they gave birth. And when they gave birth, the mother would die in 2 days.
Whoa.
So you're left with helpless babies. I went ahead and I seek help. I went to the University of Nairobi veterinary school. The farm is near there. And they took it upon themselves. They did the postmortems. They looked what could be the cause. And it was inconclusive, but then they give you suggestions of things to avoid, things to do, things not to do. And I think from that time, we haven't had any issue of that mothers dying after they give birth.
And now let's go back to the cages. Where did you get this concept? It's quite unique.
I visited a farm, some farm overseas, and I saw the farmer had something similar to this. And I adopted it. I made some changes. Actually, this particular farm, his main venture was yes, a rabbit farming, but he was farming rabbits for a different reason. He was farming rabbits because he was using the rabbit manure as beds for worms. So people who wants to go fishing, they would buy the worms, he would put them in styrofoams and he would ship it to them. So 60% of his business was the worms. The rabbit was only 40%. He'll sell the meat, some hide, but basically his main business was the worm. So I copied that concept of his cages, how he had his cages, and I modified it a little bit. You see, we probably have 3-4 different type of cages here. We make all the cages here, and it works out pretty good.
Tell us more about these different varieties, the 4 varieties that you have.
If you look at this particular one, this one, the original cages, this was one piece. And then So these two are two different pieces. Then we welded it up together, and now we made it one. So the cages are different. They open from the top so that the rabbit can't open them. And then we also have these cages, we combine them together so that it'd be easier to harvest urine. So if you see these animals, they all urinate here. And the design for this trap is if you take this water and you pour it, you're going to see it's going to flow that way. So that's the same way the urine flows. So it will come to, if you've come look at this side, you'll come and collect this collective trap, and then outside is where we put it into containers.
So that's just one variety. How about the one right behind you?
The cages behind me are for what we call weaning. So when these rabbits, we take them away from their mothers, we sex them, so we either put the male and female, and then we can put about 10, 15 per cage, and then we do an extensive feeding program so that by 4.5 months, 5 months, they're either meat in the table, or maybe they go to other farmers for breeding. And
I see that you've really automated the water system. Is it also used for nutrients as well?
No. We use an automated water system for various reasons. One reason is they get clean, fresh water all the time. Cleanliness, they can't get their poop or their urine inside there, so the water is clean all the time. And second of all, if we need to deworm or give them vitamins, we can specifically, you can see these containers, you can specifically target a particular group for deworming or even giving vitamins. And
I see there's a lot of light coming in. The way you've structured it in a particular way.
That's the way structure is. It needs to be very well ventilated. If you look, the wall is just above, a little bit above, so the wind is not hitting the rabbits directly. So the wind goes on top, so they get a good dose of fresh air. You protect them from the rain, and they're happy animals.
Wow. And now, what's the capacity of this facility? And also for a farmer who's intending to begin, how many should be in a particular square feet or in a particular house?
This particular house, we can easily have 2,500 to 3,000 without them being too squeezy. But by that number, as you have them in all stages, you could have 20 rabbits that gave birth to 8 each. So you can see the numbers add up pretty fast. But this one, you can easily hold 3,000.
And now, which varieties do you have here?
The majority, if I was to look, we have a lot of New Zealand white. Those are the white ones that have pinkish eyes. We have a lot of those. Those and the California white, that's what we call the mid-sized rabbit. There are some other smaller ones. And there's some other bigger ones, what we call the giants. But there's some bigger, there are 3 different categories. There are the smaller ones, the medium, and the giants. Now, the medium ones are better for meat, for reason their meat to bone ratio is not as much. The bigger ones, their meat to bone ratio is not very good. They have a lot of bone. You can look at it as a big bone. But the Dutch, the California, the chinchilla, they're medium-sized rabbit. And if you can get an average of 1.5 kilos of meat in 4 months, that's a pretty good sized rabbit.
Tony, now that you've been in this field for quite some time, there's a beginner who wants to start this type of venture. What should they look out for? If
you're buying rabbits for starting out, I highly recommend you first visit a few farms. Go see a few farms and spend some time with the farmer and make your own observations of what you would like to achieve, the end goal. The end goal is profit, and each farmer has a story. Now that story will help you determine, should I go with the bigger ones, the smaller ones, and then you source your seed. Now, where you source your seed is also very important.
They come in seeds?
Well, they not seed. Well, seed, by seed I mean you have to buy the babies.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you have to buy the babies. Our breeders, actually we call them all breeders. Now you have to take those from a particular farm. Like for here, mostly we sell females. Now we sell the females here, and then we'll probably tell you where to go buy a male. I can't sell you the male and the females.
Why?
Because we'll be doing something we call inbreeding. And inbreeding is not good. Crossbreeding is not bad. Inbreeding is not good. So if you inbreed, then you're going to have a lot of issues of disease. You're going to have some animals born maybe without limbs. So we don't want to go in that area. It's a little gray.
Well, Tony, that's quite interesting, and we still have a lot to learn, but I need to take a glass of water. We are taking a short commercial break, and when we return, we're going to talk about the feeding regime, the rabbits, the varieties of rabbits available at Buffalo Farm. So don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp.
And welcome back to Kilimo na Biashara Show. Thank you so much for staying with us. And if you're just joining us right now, today we are focusing on rabbit farming. Well, we have different types of products right here, and Tony is going to tell us what are these exactly. And I saw that your rabbits are pretty big. Tell us the secret.
Yes, Linda. We have huge rabbits, as you saw. And the secret in this rabbit farming and all other farming is what you're feeding them. As you are aware, we make all our raw materials here in this farm. We make all our feeds. We buy the raw materials, we make all our feeds. As you saw, the raw materials, we buy them raw. If it's maize, we buy raw maize, dried maize. Then we have a portion meal, we grind it, and we mix depending on whatever formula we are making for whatever animal, and we make the meal. Then we pelletize it. If we have to pelletize, we do all that operations here.
So what are the components of your raw materials? For
the rabbit meal, there is sunflower cake. We use full-fat soya. There is wheat bran. We use some Poland, and we mix all that stuff. And also vitamins are very important because they help break down the feeds. The proteins, especially the amino acids. So you mix the meal and then you pelletize it.
Tony, but now what's the alternative, especially for farmers who are not in your level, who can make pellets? What's the other option?
Actually, the rabbits, 80% of the rabbit diet is hay, dry, good hay. That's 80%. 20% is just the pellets, which the pellets now incorporate the raw materials and the crude protein, which the hay does not have a lot of crude protein. So that's why we add the pellets as a meal. Yes.
So I guess it's feeding time for our rabbits?
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's go feed the rabbits.
All right. Tony, so how many times do you feed these rabbits?
We feed the rabbits at 6 a.m. in the morning and at 5 p.m. We put them feed because they're more active at night, so we give them a little bit more food for them to run them through the night. Back at tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Tony, now people feed cows to get milk. Yes. You feed your rabbits to get what?
We feed the rabbits to get meat, but also we have other byproducts. There's the urine, there's also the manure. We are thinking of getting into leather. Their fur is quite unique, so that is something that we are working on.
You know, you've just talked about urine in passing, yet so many people, so many farmers are really looking for this urine. What's so unique about it?
Yes, we do collect urine. As you can see, our traps, they are well constructed to trap the urine, and then it goes outside. We trap it out with a container outside, and we do sell some of the urine. For especially the organic farmers, it can either be an insecticide and it can also be fertilizer, depending on the ratios that you're mixing it with.
Yeah. And how about manure?
The manure is organic manure. Actually, rabbit manure is the only manure that you can sweep the same day and use it in the farm the same day. You don't have to age it.
So how much do you sell the rabbit urine?
The rabbit urine, depending on where you're selling it, it could fetch you anywhere from 150 a liter to 250 a liter.
What other things can you tap into when you are a rabbit farmer?
The rabbit manure definitely, and the rabbit urine. Especially now that we're getting at the age of organic farming, that is something that we're seeing the demand for these items has really packed. Coming from fake fertilizer scandals and all that, this is a sure bet fertilizer that once you put it in your farm, you're going to get the desired results.
Yeah. So when you're beginning this venture, what was the end game for you?
I started small. I was quite green, but the end goal was for meat. We are still expanding on that. We are trying to bring more and more restaurants into our value chain. And also we're now looking into doing value add. So maybe within the year, we should start having rabbit sausage. We're starting to do value add on the rabbit itself.
That's quite interesting. And how is the uptake of rabbit meat locally?
The market locally is huge. It's huge. We sell to restaurants all over Nairobi. We sell to other farmers. Actually, we have some people come from outside the country that will buy the breeder rabbits. So it's quite huge. As you can see, we are thinking of expanding to another house. This one is quite full, so it's huge.
So how much does the rabbit meat go for?
I highly recommend to new farmers, if you are getting breeders, don't get rabbits that are less than 3 months old. 3 months for me is a litmus test. They've been weaned and they've survived the whole month on themselves. They can now go survive somewhere else by themselves. But if you take them at 2 months and you take them home, you might lose some because of the stress. They're very sustainable to stress. But now the breakdown, a 3-month rabbit we sell about 2K, and a 4-month rabbit we sell about 2.5. After 4 months, 5 months, we usually keep them either for breeding or their meat. The meat we sell at 750 a kilo. That's ready-made meat.
And what's the meat famously known for?
The meat is known as the most nutritious meat you'll ever eat. We are trying to shed the myth that a rabbit is a rat. It's not a rat or a big rat, but it's the most nutritious meat. We enjoy it at my home. I have very many customers. There's a lot of hotels that are embracing it, and I think it's the way to go.
So aside from the meat, urine, what other things can you do with the rabbits?
Rabbits are very good pets for kids. Teaches them responsibility. So this is a way to keep your kids busy and responsible and keep them away from the gadgets. Yes, let them take care of the animals and they'll probably grow into other bigger animals.
And speaking about responsibility, there is 4K Club in Kenya. Are you involved?
4K Clubs is my darling. I love the 4K Club. I do work with 4K Club, and we try to encourage a lot of schools to do the uptake for these kind of activities, show kids how to farm, how to you can also have fun while making some money. So the 4K clubs are tapping into this. We have kids come here, they see live, they learn, we give them some rabbits. We are always giving kids stuff and want them to grow. So the 4K Club is doing a great job, and these are the future farmers, and we look forward to them feeding the nation.
But now, Tony, you've talked about the success of rabbit farming. I know challenges abound in any successful business. Tell me about that.
I always say that rabbit farming has two problems. Problem number one is the respiratory. So as long as the houses are very well ventilated, then you don't have to worry about ventilation. Number two is the GI. Make sure the cages are clean. That's why we have self-cleaning cages. Even if they don't sweep here for 3 days, you're not going to smell anything in here. So if you keep them clean and the air flowing, that's 90% of the problems taken care of. Obviously, you'll have some that will be sick. You'll have some that will maybe break rims. We have incidences where they are caught in the mesh. But other than that, they are gives birth and they are ready to go.
Now, Tony, there is someone who's watched this show and is quite interested. What advice would you give?
I would recommend, if you're a new farmer, visit a few farmers, 1, 2, 3 farmers that are already doing it. Not somebody who started last year. 1, 2, 3 farmers, you get different ideas. In this age, yes, you can go to YouTube, but there's nothing that beats actual, because there are some things, some challenges that people will never discuss on YouTube. You visit the farmers. After you visit the farmers, you make sure you procure your breeder rabbits from dependable farms. Once you do that, then now you take them home, and you have to have a plan on what's your target plan. How do you intend to make money with that enterprise? Is it just to feed your family meat, or you want to go this commercial? Then the rest is just hard work and perseverance. Farming, you have to be patient. There are setbacks that can set you way back, but you have to be patient and follow your instincts, follow the business plan, and at the end, you will add up.
Thank you so much, Tony. We are truly honored to have you on the show today.
Karibu tena.
We are
and
impressed.
Welcome back again.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you for being part of the show today. I hope you remember earlier on I told you you gotta have your pen and paper and ready to learn rabbit farming. Well, I'm sure you've gotten all the tips that you needed to know when it comes to rabbit farming. My name is Linda Koskei. See you again next Sunday for yet another exciting episode of Kilimo na Biashara. See you then.
kids, light up your festive season with StarTimes. Renew your subscription for 2 months and get upgraded to the next high bouquet for 2 months to spend more time hanging out with all your favorite cartoon friends on our amazing kiddie channel.
Pretty incredible, right?
Enjoy more adventure, more action, and more fun on Baby TV, CBeebies, Jim Jam, ST Kids, ST Tunes, Toonami, Cartoon, and Boing. Renew your subscription today and get upgraded to Jingle with the Stars.
And I like it that way.
Download the StarTimes On app to enjoy all your favorite kids shows on the go. StarTimes, enjoy digital life.
Kila tunapopitia majaribio maishani, sio kutuonyesha udhaifu wetu, bali ni kutusaidia kugundua uwezo wetu. Basi tuzilaki changamoto za maisha, kwani zinatunua na kututayarisha kwa siku za usoni.
Kupata uwezo wetu kama sikiza tune yako, dial *811 *615#.
Naam, mtazamaji, natumai Jumapili yako imekuendea vyema na chukua hatua hii kukaribisha kwa taarifa za K24 Weekendi. Tumekuandalia taarifa kemkem kuanzia siasa, elimu, afya, taarifa kutoka mashinani pamoja na michezo. Mimi ni Daniel Kitua, anayefasiri katika meza yetu ya lugha ya ishara ni Bwana Clement Muli. Kwanza tupate vichocheo.